Hi book friends, welcome or welcome back to my channel. I am a Jen who reads, and this video is the Sorting Hat will pick my September TBR. So today is September 1st, and if you are a Harry Potter fan, you know that September 1st is a very special day. It's the day that we ride the Hogwarts Express to Hogwarts. Before we jump in, I do want to talk about a side note. It is not a secret that J.K. Rowling has some very hurtful views on our trans community. That can be difficult for somebody who is such a big Harry Potter fan. In my opinion, instead of canceling J.K. Rowling, I feel that it is more beneficial to the community as a whole to support trans organizations. So in the description below, I have listed some links of some trans organizations that you can donate to and that I will also be donating to. So I've never done a TBR this way before, and I made this up out of my head. So I have these playing cards, these Hogwarts playing cards, and there are the 4 houses in the cards instead of the 4 suits. So I assigned a genre to each of the 4 houses. I also assigned a prompt to each of the numbers and face cards within those houses. This is probably the hardest TBR that I have ever compiled because not only do I have to follow the prompts, but the prompts fit a special genre. Because of that, I'm going to pick 5 cards. 5 is a good number for me when I am making a TBR because then it also allows some wiggle room for book club reads or just some mood reading. And because these prompts are so genre specific, I may not have a book physically that matches the prompt. So how I'm going to run this TBR is I'm going to pick the 5 prompt cards out of the deck. Then I'm going to pause the video and go on a search to see if I can fulfill the prompts with books that I already own. If I do need to go elsewhere for the books, I have about $50 to Amazon and $20 to Barnes & Nobles, and so that will help me out a little bit as well. So I'm going to give the cards a good shuffle. And instead of reading all the prompts to you beforehand, I'm just going to tell you the genres that are associated with each house. So for the house that I am in, which is Hufflepuff, that is going to be assigned the fantasy genre. My boyfriend is a Slytherin, so I assigned the romance genre to the Slytherin house. Ravenclaw gets the mystery, thriller, horror genre, and then Gryffindor is sort of my choice. I can choose to do a historical fiction, or I can just choose from any of the other genres. All right, so I'm going to randomly pick 5 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Looks like I did not get a single Slytherin card, but I did get some Gryffindor cards. So if I need to assign a romance to the Gryffindor card prompt, I can do that. I'm not going to go through all of the prompts for all of the cards because that would just take a long time. But if you are interested in making a TBR game like this or similar to this, you could probably even just use a regular deck of cards. In the description, I'm going to have all of the prompts that I made for this Harry Potter TBR game because they are all Harry Potter specific prompts. Feel free to use it. I would just ask that you tag me in my social media in any posts or videos that you make. I'm back. I have chosen my books. Good news is I found books to match all of these prompts that I already had on my TBR. So that means that all of my Amazon and Barnes & Noble's money I can save or just spend it on books that I think are interesting. 2 things that I did forget to mention is that I tried really hard to find books that were cozy. I live in Florida and we don't get very much cozy weather. It is hot all of the time. I try not to decorate my house for fall or Halloween until like mid-September just because it's so hot outside. It just doesn't feel like fall. This year, though, I have been drinking the Starbucks fall menu well before the fall season actually started. The other thing that I forgot to mention was that we do have a Dobby Joker card in the pile, and two things happen with the Dobby Joker card. The first thing that happens is that I get to pick another card to replace the Dobby card because he doesn't really have a prompt attached to him. But the special thing about the Dobby Joker card is that he allows me to look through the prompts and replace one. One of the cards that I picked was Gryffindor 8, and the prompt that went with 8 was Quidditch, and so that was a book that was sports related. I recently read Icebreaker, and I did not want to read another sports romance or another sports related book, so I did take this one out and I replaced it with Slytherin 7. So we do have a romance in the pile, and that makes my heart happy. So let's see what the sorting hat pulled for my September TBR. Hufflepuff Ace. Hufflepuff tells me that the book needs to be in the fantasy genre, but the Ace told me that I could pick any of the other prompts that I wanted to fit with the fantasy card. So of course, wanting to stick with the cozy theme, I picked up Can't Spell Treason Without T. This fits the number 3 prompt, which is Forbidden Forest. And that is to have something with nature on the cover. And if you look closely up there, there are some plants. I have been waiting for a long time to read this book. I actually had it on my Kindle before this edition was published in the physical copy. Haven't read it because I was waiting for this edition to come out because I just love these sprayed edges. This is my favorite color. Can't Spell Treason Without T is my first choice on my September TBR. Next to the sorting hat picked 4 of Ravenclaw. Ravenclaw told me that I needed to have a mystery thriller horror book for this genre. And the number 4 told me that I was going to participate in Dueling Club, which means that I needed to pick a book with dual or multiple POVs. So for that book, I chose the second book in the Thursday Murder Club series, The Man Who Died Twice. I got this one at the thrift store. You can still see the thrift store sticker on it. I read this first book in August, and I really, really liked it, and I am excited to read my way through this series. Number 5 told me that I needed to go to potions class, where Snape told me to turn to page 394. That means that I needed to pick a book with an even amount of pages. Because it was Gryffindor, I could pick any genre that I wanted. So I picked The Women, the newest book by Kristen Hanna. This is actually an ARC copy that I got. I have, since getting this, I have lent it out to 2 different people. I have not gotten around to reading it yet, but both of the women who I lent the women to said that this is one of their top favorite books. I don't read much historical fiction, but when I do, I really, really enjoy it. So I'm looking forward to The Women. Next to the sorting hat picked 7 of Slytherin for me, and Slytherin was a romance. And the 7 prompt told me that I was going to drink some pumpkin juice. That means that I needed to find a book that fit the seasonal vibes of September. Again, hot as hell outside, so I'm going to just pretend that the weather is cool, the leaves are turning, and that makes me think of magical creatures. Specifically dragons, because they are my favorite magical creature. So a romance with a magical creature that fits the vibes. I picked That Time I Got Drunk and Saved a Human. Now the cover of this book kind of gives me springtime vibes, but we're going to just ignore that. We're not basing this on the cover. We're basing this on the content. I recently read the first book in this series, which was That Time I Got Drunk and Saved a Demon, and I absolutely loved it. I was not expecting to love it as much as I did. The reason I picked these books up in the first place was just because covers. I love the covers. It was definitely a cover buy. This is the 3rd book in the series. I don't have, and I have not read yet, the 2nd book, but I don't think that it matters. I think that it is a series, but they are standalone or stand alone enough that you don't need to read them in order. At least that's what I'm hoping. So for my pumpkin juice seasonal vibe romance, That Time I Got Drunk and Saved a Human. And last, but certainly not least, is probably the one that I am the most excited about. The Sorting Hat gave me 2 of Hufflepuff. Hufflepuff told me that I needed to read a fantasy, and the number 2 prompt is the Magical Menagerie prompt, which told me that I needed to find a book with an animal on the cover. Now, my favorite book of 2023 was Assistant to the Villain, and I'm so happy to say that Apprentice to the Villain has a frog on the cover. Our friend Kingsley graces the top of this book. I'm so excited to get to this. I'm so excited that this fit a prompt for this month because I did not want to wait any longer to read it. It also has these beautiful sprayed edges. So here is my TBR for September. Thank you to the Sorting Hat for helping me out. I do have some other books that I will be reading. I have a couple of book clubs that I will be participating in, but at the time that I'm recording this video, we don't know what books are going to be chosen. And I always try to read a book on my Kindle as well. I recently found out that the Harry Potter illustrated editions are on KU, and so I did put book 1 on my Kindle, and I'm going to start that one also in September and do a little Harry Potter reread. I would highly appreciate your likes, comments, and subscribes. Please leave me a comment with an emoji that represents your house or that represents your Patronus. I forgot to tell you that my Patronus is a tortoiseshell cat, which I find a little odd, but we can't control our Patronuses. I wish it was like a corgi or an octopus. Until next time, enjoy your Hogwarts classes and happy reading.